Hi, you guys. Good morning. I'm sorry I'm late for our very important meditation challenge. Um, I totally overslept. That's what really happened. I slept until 9:30 and I can't even believe it. I must have needed it. I'm going to record this for the podcast too, you guys, and then I'm going to jump right in. I'm actually live on in our group, Your Spiritual Awakening community, and I'm actually live on my YouTube, Our Spiritual Awakening Babe. So hello, everybody. We're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what happens when you meditate, because you guys know I'm a super energy nerd alert. I'm going to explain why it's so important to have this meditation practice. And then we're going to kind of go into, and I'll do like a little bit of a guided meditation for you guys. So if you're watching live, let me know, say hi, I'm watching live. And if you're watching on the replay, please, by all means, do everybody a favor and just say, I'm watching on the replay. That will keep it bumped up, whether it's in an algorithm like on YouTube or if it's in our Spiritual Awakening community on Facebook. That way more people will see it and more people will be on their Zen cloud, which is exactly why I'm doing this. So I'm going to start recording this for the podcast as well. I think I have a slow connection because it shows there's a bunch of you watching, but I can't see who you are. So say hello, holla, holla. So we record this on the cloud, connecting to the cloud server. Awesome. So you guys, good morning. I'm also recording this for the Craving Consciousness podcast. If you haven't had a chance to listen to some of my podcast episodes, you want to run over to my website, brandalene.com, or you can go on iTunes, and it's called Craving Consciousness Podcast. So I'm recording this meditation challenge that we're doing as part of our community is me giving back. There's so many people right now that are like not on their Zen cloud. They're picking up energy from the collective. They're holding it on as their own, and then they're starting to act out as a lot of the collective people are. So good morning, all of you guys that are saying hi to me on Facebook. So today I want to dive into like what actually happens when you meditate. And then we're going to talk about some meditation tips on how you could start your practice. And then you're going to feel all Zen. I'm going to guide you through a tiny bit of a meditation just so you could feel the power of peace, if you will. And then tomorrow and the next day, we are also going to be doing this meditation challenge. We're going to go into like how you could heal your DNA, how you can heal the masses, how you can use meditation for manifestation. It is super geeky and groovy. So if you're loving this, share it if you can, or invite people to our community that need this. So one of the things that happens when you're meditating, and this is the number one thing that I teach when we're talking about intuition and mediumship development, is the number one thing I say is you need to create space for spirit, right? What ends up happening when we're meditating is we start sensing and we start feeling and we stop thinking. And this allows our logical mind just to completely take a back seat, allows our emotional mind, our creative side of our mind to come forward, and it creates beautiful space. It like literally opens a portal for spirit to be able to come through. The more you meditate, the stronger that portal is for spirit to come through. And when I'm talking, that's intuition and mediumship development. But when we're talking about peace, we're talking about plugging in your cell phone so that it charges. Like they always say, like a lot of things start working again after you unplug them, right? Reboot them, including yourself. And that's what meditation really is. One of the main purposes of meditation is to get beyond that logical side of the mind, the analytical side of the mind, and to get into the operating system of your subconscious mind. So this is such a beautiful tool to start really recreating your life, right? Now, I'm going to talk a little bit geeky, but I know you guys dig it. So I do all the studying. You guys don't have to get into the science part. And then I like to channel it out of my mouth in normal words so that we can all understand, right? Hi, Elvira, over on YouTube. It's been a while, right? Yes, start meditating. This is the whole reason why. And she joined at 4 minutes and 38 seconds, which is my mom's number. Hi, Mom. So I love that. So Mom's here with us, right? Another thing that happens here is you are an energetic being, right? So if we're not meditating, then all pieces of us are like flying off everywhere. And I share this all the time. Like your energy is like everywhere. You're thinking about this Facebook Live you have to do. You're thinking about, oh my God, I got to stock up on toilet paper. You're thinking about what's going to happen in my future, right? So you're thinking about all of these things, but that's where your energy is going. And over time, all of that will create a physical change and manifest, right? And this is, we're going to talk about meditating and manifesting in another video, right? Right? How does one open the third eye? We're not doing that today, but we are going to talk about the third eye in this challenge. So if you're not signed up, message me for the link, especially if you're over on YouTube. Message me, Brandon Lane Johnson, on Facebook, and I'll send you the link so that you get the replays. So essentially, where you put your energy, where you focus your energy, right? Where your mind is focused. Where your mind is, somebody's messaging me about coaching with me. Where you put your attention is where your energy goes, right? Where your attention flows, your energy goes. And that's what happens. So why do we meditate? We meditate to come back and get grounded. And this is the big thing that I want to share with you guys right now, because like 80% of humanity is not grounded right now. 85% of humanity is picking up on the other energies of the consciousness, right? The collective consciousness. And then a lot of people are intuitive and they don't know they're intuitive. So they think that these feelings they're feeling are their own. They're feelings of panic, their feelings of fear, the feelings of urgency. And so then they start acting out because your actions follow your feelings, right? So same thing. It's like if you get up in the morning, you're feeling really down, it's raining out, your mood follows it, and then your thoughts start following that, right? So if you're picking up on energy from the collective and then you feel the feeling, then your thoughts start running with it. So one of the important things about meditation is being able to be stronger than your feelings, being so mindful that you know that your thoughts aren't in alignment with what you want. And even if your physical body feels emotion or feels pain, that you can be mindful enough to shift it and focus, get your thoughts coming back to you. So, so I want you guys to just be here with me right now, right? I want you to think of three things, like notice three things about where you're at right now. I want you to feel where you're sitting or standing. Yes, Melanie says she feels like she's going crazy. A lot of people feel like they're going crazy because you're feeling what everybody else is feeling, right? And it becomes overwhelming. And when we're talking about 80% of people like losing their mind right now, it's no wonder, no matter how grounded you think you are, no matter how spiritual you believe yourself to be, you can get swooped up into the river, right? The current of the masses. And so this is why I'm offering this valuable challenge with you guys for free, because it's my way of giving back to help you come back down. It's not just to help you, it's to help you help us, right? Where do we start? Where do we start when we want to create a better life? And that's within. Where do we start when we want to create change on this planet? Within. And it's not without, right? So we're calling our energy back to within. So back to, I want you to think about where are you right now? You know, are you sitting? I want you to feel like how you don't have to effort where you're sitting, where you're standing, right? You don't have to think about holding your body up, right? It's supported. You're absolutely supported right now. And then I want you to starting to pay attention to your breath. This is a classic meditation technique. It's really bringing your focus all the way into breathing, because that's something that just happens by itself. Do you notice how you don't have to think to yourself to breathe in or to breathe out? You notice how your body supports you, just like the universe is supporting you. It's working all on its own. You don't have to worry about if that next breath is coming in. It just comes in, right? So we're just bringing our focus back to ourselves, and we're breathing in and we're breathing out, and we're noticing how we're supported. And if you have a moment, if you could just kind of just close your eyes if you can, not if you're driving or can't, close your eyes. And I want you to just feel like the sensation, like you're still here, like the sensation of seeing behind your closed eyes. What does that feel like? Maybe for some of you, a little bit of loss of control. Maybe you feel a little weird. But for some other of you, you might be like, oh, wow, like so much of the distraction has been taken away, right? Especially if you're somewhere where you can see movement and stuff. Well, this is just one thing that you could do, and you could open your eyes now, that you can do just to kind of like, oh my gosh, now I'm right here in this present moment. And I want you to be right here in this present moment with me right now. And I want to ask you, is everything okay right now? Just right now? Is everything okay? Just right now? Just right now. Is everything okay? It is, isn't it? Just everything's just okay just right now. And so this is a technique that you could come back to. And I used to have to do this when I had a fucked up money mindset. You guys know I talk about it. And the only thing I could think about is survival. And I feel like a lot of people right now, that's the only thing they could think about. So one thing I would have to do is really practice this mindfulness technique to go, okay, is everything just okay right now? Like nobody's knocking on your door for a bill collector. Like you actually, your stomach is full, right? Right now, just right now. Just right now. And the more that you can do that, the more you get out, not outside of yourself, the more you stop associating your life with external things, whether it's a bill or the power bill or the food or your stock of toilet paper. You stop giving your energy away to that and you come back here. And so what happens then, you start manifesting from this tiny, 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 tiny place, more peace. Because right now everything's okay. So now let me give you a couple other techniques that you guys can start doing, especially if you're brand new to meditating, is do the open eyes technique, right? Like, see that? Hold on a second. Let me grab something. Oh, wait, you guys are going to see that I'm in my pajama pants. But see, so this is what happens behind the scenes, is I have my pajama pants on. Yeah, well, I just give it away. So, okay. So, and those of you listening on the podcast, it's pretty funny that I have my pajama pants. So anything that you could do to be aware, right? I'll just be so mindful, is to just really, like, you could get something small and you could just start focusing on these little crystals and just breathe in and breathe out and breathe in and breathe out, and maybe move, maybe go to the purple ones and look at the purple ones for a couple seconds and then change to the orange ones. This is a perfect example of like an open eyes technique. You can do it, like I love to do it outside in nature, just gaze down a little bit and just stare at the grass, right? Especially when you're in Michigan and you could sit on the grass and just lay by the tree. Oh my gosh, how wonderful does that feel, right? That's when you're really grounded. And just be able to stare at the grass, and it's okay to see the ants moving along, and like allow your awareness just to open, just to only be there. And if you start wondering what the ant does or how his body works, yeah, that's great, because you've almost like opened your third eye, right? It's when we allow our focus to wonder and gaze, that's when we like our energy opens to spirit, right? So that's like an open eyes, and you could do that for like 5 minutes twice a day. And if you get really good at it, you'll find the sweet spot. And we're going to talk more about that like tomorrow and the next day. But you could get to that sweet spot. That's a perfect way for people that are brand new to meditation. Another thing I want to share with you guys about meditation is it's really like everybody's always thinking they're doing it wrong if they have thoughts coming up. That is not the case, right? People think, oh my gosh, meditation is about not having thoughts. It's really more about becoming aware of your thoughts and when they start bubbling up and what triggers them. And then noticing how one thought will run upon the other, right? I always love to share when I do these meditations, lessons, that you don't even think for yourself. And let me blow your damn minds, right? Yeah, Elvira's talking about, she's having Elvira's sharing on YouTube that she has these sensations in her body once she starts meditating, and she feels tickles and stuff on her face, and that absolutely she's got to the good spot where because in the beginning of this training I said, when you're starting to sense and feel and you're not thinking, that was my notes to myself, that's what's happening with Elvira. She's starting to get to the sweet spot. She's starting to be so aware of her space that spirit's intervening, right? Which they always are. They're there. When I say spirit, I mean spirit guides, angels, past loved ones. So they're touching her probably in her meditation, or she's feeling the waves of her aura expanding or her chakras. Once you learn meditation, it starts to get really groovy like that, Elvira. So keep doing that. And I would recommend journaling it. But back to where I was saying is, you don't think for yourself, right? It's your subconscious mind is already programmed for certain things. So for example, we start meditating and we close our eyes and we're going in for a quiet meditation, which is what I recommend, being alone by yourself with your quiet meditation. And all of a sudden a sneaky little thought comes in about what's for dinner. And then what happens? Then you start rolling and you start thinking about dinner, and then you start thinking about, fuck, I shouldn't eat any carbs. And then you start thinking about, damn, I've gained so much weight since my mom died. And then you think, oh my God, my mom died. And then you start crying, and then you're like, oh my God, I miss my mother. Do you see what happens? Is you didn't think for yourself. It triggered and it triggered and it triggered and it triggered and it triggered. You didn't consciously make those thoughts. So you are 98% an unconscious being. This is another reason why meditation is so important. So when we're meditating, we start catching the, oh my gosh, what's for dinner? No. Come back to the breath, right? And don't judge yourself, because soon it'll be easier and you'll be able to just go, zoop. I almost, for me, like, just to give you guys a tip on how it works for me is, you know what a retaining wall is? A retaining wall holds back all the dirt. Like, so you'll see them in those, like, a housing development or something where the houses are further up, but so they have this big wall and it holds everything back. Or a lot of times if somebody has a pool in their backyard, they'll have like that retaining wall and it retains the soil and everything. So a lot of times I imagine, because you could almost feel like the words, the thoughts coming up from the other side, and I imagine then they start pouring over and they come at me, right? And so then I'm like, come back to the breath, and then the thoughts will build up. I mean, they're not going to stop. So just don't judge yourself. But what ends up happening is you end up having more control, and you end up getting to really know yourself and realize, like, if you're just a dick, right? I was a dick before I ever meditated. I was just a dick. I really was. You guys don't think I am, but you didn't really know me before I meditated. So you really get to see how much you're reacting. So back to the technique that I was sharing with you guys is the quiet meditation is to really first make sure, here's some tips. Make sure you're not going to be expecting something, because otherwise you won't be able to get into that nice spot. So make sure nobody's going to be coming over in 15 minutes. You don't have a conference call for an hour. The kids aren't going to be coming in. You guys with kids, that's a whole nother story. Maybe I could share some other tips with you on another one, but make sure that you don't have any distractions as much as possible. Really, like, sometimes it's almost good to like move your body a bit before you go, because otherwise you have too much stress. What happens during meditation is it burns the stress off your nervous system. This is so great. This is so great for you. Meditation is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. It burns stress off your nervous system. And what is the stress? The thoughts, right? So when you first start a meditation practice, the thoughts are going to be coming in like crazy. Or if you've gone a while without meditating, or if you've had a really stressful day, you may find that it's hard to get to that sweet spot in meditation. So first, make sure you're not distracted. Maybe move your body around a little bit, take a couple deep breaths, and then get centered and get into this nice position where your legs aren't crossed, your arms aren't crossed, so your limbs aren't crossed, whether you're laying or sitting up. Well, if you're sitting up, I kind of like to sit towards the front and kind of like lean forward a little bit, and then have your arms open, which is for you to receive, right? You don't have to do that, but you can. And then what you just start doing is you just start counting your breaths. I remember when somebody taught me this technique, I was like, that's crazy. Because by the breath number 5, I was thinking about hot dogs and, my first kiss and everything else under the sun. But you end up getting to this spot. Now, once we get to this spot, it might last for half of a second where you just feel so peaceful. That's the sweet spot. And a lot of times it happens just for half a second. But the longer you do your practice, the quicker you get to the sweet spot and the longer that sweet spot happens, and you feel fucking amazing afterwards. I'm telling you, you will feel amazing. This is what I want you guys to practice on today. I want you to, before tomorrow's training, I want you to do either the open eyes technique that I talked about with the staring at the thingies, or candle is great, or water, watching water move is great. Or I want you to close your eyes and I want you to do this breath work. And I want you to, breathe in once, I'm breathing in once. And I'm breathing out once, right? I'm breathing in twice, I'm breathing out twice. So I want you guys to do this. But also, let's close with a little grounding exercise for you guys. And remember, if you guys are watching this because I'm recording it live, make sure you say, hey, I'm live. Or if you're watching it on the replay, bump it up so that more people get to see this and more people find Zen. So here we go. So we're going to do a grounding exercise. And this is something you could do also, especially if you're still going to work or you just start having a panic attack. This is a beautiful way to get grounded. And this is part of a meditation practice, is your meditation practice brings you all the way back to here, because your only focus is making sure that you're breathing, right? Making sure that you're breathing. That's all you're focusing on. So and then another important tip is to not just come out of it and go back, because then otherwise, you wasted your sweet spot, right? It's for hi Sherry. It's for you to, once you're done, just to kind of open your eyes as a gaze, and then just start becoming aware of the things that are around you, and that you are human, you are Brandeline, you're a woman, you're in Las Vegas, come back slowly, so that you carry that sweet spot with you, and you anchor it in, and then you go out for the rest of your day and being so much more mindful and grounded. So not being grounded means you're a spaz case, that your energy, and we're going to talk more about brainwaves tomorrow, is all over the damn place, right? And that opens your energy field up for attack, if you will. So you'll be more affected by Wi-Fi, all of those things. So being grounded, which we're about to do, is going to help you have this gorgeous, literally an electromagnetic shield, whether you're touching the planet Earth or you're going to do it with the way I'm going to do it right now. It expands your field, and it's like a big giant windshield that's around you. And a lot of that panic that's going on outside of you won't affect you, right? So here we go. So, all right, so we're here again in this present moment. I want you to see where you're sitting, realize how supported you are. You don't need to do anything to hold your body up. It's supported by the earth. You do not need to do anything to do that inhale breath or that exhale breath. Your body is taking care of you. You don't have to worry. You're being taken care of. You're being supported by your body and the universe. So now I want you to think about around your waist and through your butt, right? And even out of the bottom of your feet, that there are roots, tree roots growing out. I love to imagine that it's around my waist, because to me that means I am not going nowhere. And those roots, like of the tree, right, go all the way to the core of the earth. I want you to really think about it and feel it. Where's your favorite spot in earth? How does it feel when you're there? How does it feel? I want you to feel the feeling of earth as your roots grow down into the core of the center of the earth. I want you to really feel, maybe it's your legs, even you feel like your legs are going down into the soil, the moist, dark soil, whatever it is for you. Maybe it's the beach. Maybe it's the forest. Maybe it's mud. How does that feel to you, so supported, so thick? And then I want you to imagine that if the earth went completely upside down, that you are not going anywhere. You are so held down by this earth. And then I want you to breathe up the energy, that feeling that you feel when you feel so supported by earth. I want you to breathe it up through the roots. I want you to feel it coming up your legs, like you're so calm. Like maybe you even feel the sun shining, because to me that's something that I really love in nature. And I just feel that feeling, that peaceful feeling coming all the way to your heart chakra, all the way up, like you are so freaking calm. It feels so good. And then I want you to imagine that it just keeps coming up, and it comes up and it comes up and it comes out of your crown, like that feeling, the soil, the groundedness. And then I love to imagine it's like recycling. It's taking out all that stress that's in my nervous system, and it's pulling it out, and now it's bringing it back down, cleansing all of your chakras right in your aura, and bringing all of the static electronic energy. I could feel it, I could see it, I can imagine it. It's picking all that up, and it's taking it off all your cells, right? All that me feeling, Can you feel it? It's taking the me and it's like bringing it back down. It's taking it and then it recycles it back down. And you could do this for a while. And like I like to imagine myself swaying and just really feeling it. And like the more you really surrender into this and not feel like a nerd, right? The more you're going to really feel it. Do you just feel better now? Do you feel better? I want you guys to do this any moment when you're like feeling that panic set in or if you get triggered by somebody on the outside of you. Come back here and go share this spot with somebody, right? Go share this peaceful moment. And then I want you guys to go ahead and do either the open eyes meditation technique that I shared or the closed eyes silent with the breaths coming in, right? Today. And I want you guys to post in our community. If you're there, if you're not, get in there, your spiritual awakening community. And if you're listening to this after the fact of this, come join us anyway and share what your meditative experience was like today and how much better you felt. Tomorrow we're going to talk about I really want to get nerdy with it and talk about your brain waves and also healing our DNA and health through meditation. And so we're going to be back again tomorrow. If you haven't signed up so that you get the replay and all that, message me. And Brandeline Johnson is my name. And Spiritual Awakening is my game. I'm such a nerd. So find me and message me, and I'll send you the link so you could get the replays. I'm going to stop the recording for this podcast. And yeah, so thank you for watching on YouTube, Elvira. Thank you for sharing. And I know there's some more of you watching on YouTube, but I saw Elvira's comments. And thank you everybody that was watching here on the Facebook Live. And check your inbox if you're signed up, and we're going to send you the link to the replay. And stay grounded out there and stay in your zen. I'm sending you guys love. I hope you really enjoy this free training.